That's the second time you bring it up.
I certainly would not want to aggravate you, Mr. Hitler. I would very much prefer to reach a point with you in this interview. Mr. Hitler, what is it you find common between you and Charlie Chaplin?
People thought the resemblance between me and him was laughable just because we had the same moustache. But there's a fundamental difference between us. He made people laugh. I made them disappear. He wore the military uniform to mock it. I wore it to restore its dignity. I never saw Chaplin as anything but a symbol of what weakens a nation: mockery, frivolity, and softness. I was never a clown. I was a man carrying the vision of a nation.
If you were alive in the 21st century, would you consider fast food, something like McDonald's or Burger King? We sometimes wonder, would you ever sit for a quick meal like the rest of us?
No, I don't believe I would have eaten anything of that kind. I was a vegetarian most of my life, not for health or luxury, but because I detested the idea of something living being slaughtered for me. Food to me was never about pleasure, but survival. I never indulged in luxury, nor enjoyed sitting for hours in a restaurant. Perhaps what attracts people today to those places is exactly what I rejected in humanity: consumption without thought and instant gratification without responsibility.
So let me see if I understand this correctly, Mr. Hitler. You refuse to have a chicken killed for you, but you have no problem placing entire people on the not allowed to live list?
The difference is simple. A chicken never declared itself the greatest threat to my nation. But some people, they made themselves a threat before I even touched them. I didn't start the battle. I simply refused to be its victim.
The victim mentality. Your words, Mr. Hitler, are remarkably reminiscent of cliches we hear today all the time. But perhaps in your time, it might have been a different story. Oh, and one side question. What kind of showers did you prefer to take, Mr. Hitler? Did you prefer hot showers or cold? Or perhaps you liked steam?
I preferred quick showers. No reflections, no wasted time. My days were filled with reports and plans.
Noted. Mr. Hitler, there is a famous statement repeated around the world today. If time travel was possible, we'd go back and kill Adolf Hitler. The reason? The crimes attributed to you. The destruction history recorded under your name since 1933, especially what you did to a certain group of people. Now let me ask you a peculiar question, Mr. Hitler. Are you a time traveler? Are you actually, from this era, saw the world we live in, then went back to 1933 and made those decisions?
Time travel, that's a childish question. Fitting for an age that avoids responsibility by blaming fantasy. I didn't come from the future. I am the result of your past, a mirror of your present. Those who search for a man to kill forget that ideas are not killed with bullets. They are born every day, when order disappears, when dignity is insulted, when weakness is allowed to rule. If you return to 1933, you won't find just me. You'll find hunger, humiliation, a defeated people, and a nation desperate for escape. I didn't come from another time. I didn't begin anything. I merely corrected an old mistake.
It's not difficult to see the flaw in your thought process, and the reasons are beyond the scope of this interview, unless, of course, you're setting us up for a second interview titled Hitler, the Misunderstood Victim.
Victim. That's the second time you bring it up. That word, alone, is offensive.
I'm thankful victim is only a word, not a military campaign. I certainly would not want to aggravate you, Mr. Hitler. I would very much prefer to reach a point with you in this interview. Before you consider to bomb Paris, but they have masks now.
Gott verfluche die Stunde, in der ich dich sah. Paris was never difficult. The hard part was convincing people that they live in a lie and love it. As for the masks, don't worry. In your era, everyone wears one, even if they don't feel it.
Paris was easy for you, as was the blood of innocent people, men, women, and children.
The blood of innocence. Do you know what it means to believe in an idea more than you believe in human lives?
No.
I saw them as numbers in the equation of history. And unfortunately, history doesn't write itself in ink alone. I may be a devil in your books, but I'm not the only one who calculated souls as cost.
What is your greatest regret?
I don't believe in regret. But if I had to give an answer, my greatest mistake was trust. Trust in those around me. Those who failed me in critical moments, who misunderstood my vision or distorted it. I never regretted the idea, only some of the tools I allowed to slip from my hands.
You know, Mr. Hitler, through this conversation, I have come to understand the psychology of a man from this time. It's as though all his actions are nothing more than a modern echo of your old philosophy. The same contempt, the same justification, the same threat, dressed as a belief in some kind of higher cause. The only difference is that you wrote your legacy in blood. He is writing his in shame, in a mother's milk and tears, in the screams of starving children and their blood.
Shame doesn't write history. Fear does. I was the first to understand that equation, and not the last to exploit it. Maybe it's filth, but the world is still inhaling the scent of my ideas from beneath the ashes.
There are popular opinions now gaining traction on social media. They say since we cannot make any sense of what is happening in the Middle East lately, perhaps Hitler knew something that we didn't. Now, let me be clear. These are not my convictions. These are not my opinions. It is something said by public figures after recent events in that region. You can very easily find them online. They say perhaps Hitler was onto something that others failed to understand. What is your response?
People don't question their convictions until reality betrays them. What was once dismissed as madness is now whispered as possibility. I'm not seeking redemption, nor do I need applause that comes too late. But when my name is brought back into conversation, it means what I said in that era didn't die like they'd hoped. I never claimed to have the truth. I merely pointed to truths no one dared to face. And now as eyes begin to see what they once ignored, people start to whisper, maybe Hitler wasn't entirely wrong. And that whisper is louder than all the courts in the world.
Mr. Hitler, I completely disagree. But for the sake of the argument, let me grant you that for only 1 minute. Only 1 minute. Let's assume that that group of people you speak of were truly the building blocks of Satan himself. Let's assume they embodied destruction. Because if your very DNA, carried the means to annihilate Satan himself, then ultimately the question becomes, who does that make you? Or more precisely, what are you? You see, whether it is through your beliefs, or through your hatred, or through your rage, or justice, or through your vengeance or weapons, or even through your language, if within your very core lies the capacity to destroy the very foundation of evil, then this would be the time for you to sit in complete silence and have yourself a very hot cup of coffee.
Are you saying if you can destroy evil, that makes you worse than evil?
Evil is in all of us. You don't destroy the devil, Mr. Hitler. You control him.
Then perhaps that makes me someone your world fears most. A man who no longer needs the devil. I kill him.
And that's what I mean. You're beginning to understand me, Mr. Hitler. I know exactly what you mean. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the devil is. You have to see it for yourself. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue phone, the story ends, you go back to your grave. You take the red phone, you stay in La La Land. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.